In response to public outcry, the Nigerian government has clarified its COP28 delegation to Dubai, UAE, emphasizing transparency with regards to serious business. Nigeria's Information Minister, Mohammed Idris, says the federal government-funded group comprises 422 individuals, including representatives from the Presidency, the Office of the Vice President, the National Council on Climate Change, the Federal Ministry of Environment, all ministries, the National Assembly, and federal parastatals agencies. Minister Idris highlights Nigeria's significant role in climate action, citing achievements from the ongoing climate summit, such as a strategic pact with Germany to enhance electricity supply, President Tinubu's plans for the Nigeria carbon market, and electric buses, and substantial contributions from the Loss and Damage Fund. He underscored Nigeria's history of climate action initiatives, including being the first African country with an energy transition plan and a sovereign green bond. Idris clarified that the delegation is in Dubai for, in his words, serious business, not a jamboree. All right, serious business, not a jamboree, and they should not take Asheri, like you said yesterday. But in response to the Minister of Information.
So I think to a large extent, I'm not sure with this statement the minister has an understanding of the outcry of the people. Because if he does, he will not release a statement like this. Now you claim 422 people. That's colossal. Because I've seen a lot of people trying to defend them, but I'm saying please defend with empirical facts. Just like somebody on television was saying 422 people is not enough. And I look at the person and I say, at the time Nigeria is bleeding, I think for good measure, that man too should also stop parading those funny economic theories on television. They are not working. The governor of Edo State attended virtually. Ayo, let's take a real rundown. An average flight to Dubai now is close to $1 million, over $1 million. Let's say 422 people multiplied by 1 million. You have a fair idea of how much it's going to cost. That's close to $500 million already in flight tickets. At the time the country is building. By the time you add ESTA codes to everything, it's close to $1 billion. At the time the country is bleeding. Malawi has its own climate change challenges, but Lazarus Chikwera said, I'm going to cut all this. We're not going to go because things are tough economically. Economy like Germany. I was reading a story the other day that even Germany had to cut some of its contingents. In Kenya, they protested that the contingents was too much. And this 422 list, you're trying to justify it. Part of the things that they have done is that they had a bilateral meeting. I mean, they had meetings on the side with Olashof. I'm asking, hasn't President Tinubu seen Olashof about 2 or 3 times in the past 4 or 5 months? Didn't Olashof come to Nigeria? Wasn't it in Germany? So which conversation he wanted to have with Olashof that he couldn't have had at that time? They're talking about waste. They're trying to justify it. Just own up. Just own up and says, oh, we can do it, and say we can do a whole lot better. And that's just it. Not trying to make all sorts of justification. 422 is way too much for an event that could be attended virtually.
All right.
Okay, it's as follows. This is the second reaction from the federal government. The first was by Temitope Ajayi, Senior Special Assistant Media and Publicity to the President. And then the second one by Mohammed Idris, the Minister of Information. I consider the response by the Minister of Information absolutely unnecessary, surplus to requirements. Because what is indicated is that the spokesperson at the villa is saying one thing, the minister is saying another thing. And there are contradictions in the statement by the minister. He says over 70,000 people are attending the COP28. When the organizers themselves say over 97,000 people, it's just so difficult for the Minister of Information to get the right information. And then he does a breakdown. The breakdown that he has provided is different from the breakdown that the spokesperson at the villa provided. And that's why I say, look, when you have a communication strategy and you have different spokespersons, What you just need to do is simple, as dictated by common sense, coordinate. So I have the problem with the lack of coordination and giving wrong impressions. 2, nobody is saying that President Tinubu went there to have a jamboree. It's not President Tinubu we're talking about. We have said that President Tinubu has in fact shown to be very hardworking at the event. After all, yesterday, I was offering an explanation for why he was not at plenary, but he has had high-level meetings. He has met very important people, including the Prime Minister of Netherlands, the President of Kenya, the President of Namibia, the Prince Charles, and other world leaders, okay, including the Olaf Scholz, with whom he was discussing things about, energy, the energy mix in Nigeria, and the kind of cooperation that Nigeria can have with Germany. And then, of course, all those other details that the minister is talking about, electric buses, Nigeria carbon market and all that. We know that. Nobody has said the president went there to sleep. What people are complaining about is the size of the delegation. And the minister comes and he says, oh, it is not 590, it's just 422. Okay, what is the difference between 422 and 590? As I wrote in my column today, I said, where can the minister explain the difference between Okeke and Okereke? If people say 590 and then you are adjusting, spinning the figures, and you are saying it's 422, even 422 is quite large. Because what we have seen, as was reported on this station yesterday, some of the people there, they've not been seen at any significant event. Many of them did not even show up at the Nigerian pavilion. They can't be going about like a small pause. In fact, the most scandalous part of it is that 2 Nigerian agencies, the Rural Electrification Agency and Naseni, which are within the same vicinity in Abuja, they showed a picture where the directors of the 2 places were supposed to be signing a joint memorandum of understanding in Dubai, for God's sake. The joint memorandum of understanding that they could not sign in Nigeria. 2 agencies of government between them. But they have to be seen to be doing something. So that is that kind of buffoonery that Nigerians are condemning. So the minister should listen to the narrative very well. So that, these people don't give the impression that certain public officials are hard of hearing. It's the size of the delegation that we're talking about. The explanation that Tinubu Ajayi offered, that okay, there were NGO people there, journalists, media people, other people who were there to pursue their interests. I thought that has settled the matter. But the argument that the minister is trying to generate afresh is completely specious. Nobody is saying that President Tinubu is on a jamboree. We're saying that the size of delegation is a source of concern. And people are not making up the figures. These are figures, they go from State House list, figures, they go from the website of the organizers of COP28. These are figures that other people have put out there, putting the total at 1,411. So coming around saying it's 422 that went to federal government. Okay, what of the other people that also went with the federal government that the minister did not include in his list? The point has been made. At a time of austerity, we should see our leaders also making necessary sacrifices. And we just hope that all the people that went on the delegation will return home, that they will not use the Dubai visa to Japa into the remotest parts of the desert.
All right, so just like you mentioned, Dr. Abati, I believe that in terms of the minister's response, it was a bit off. It was skewed because the real issue that Nigerians had wasn't the fact that Nigeria was represented at COP28 or the fact that as a giant of Africa or the giant of Africa or a vocal advocate of climate action and climate, fighting the effects of climate change, or perhaps even the effect of climate change in Nigeria, that we ought to be well represented at COP28. No doubt about that, and I think it's important to make that really clear. Also, it's important to clarify the fact that even yesterday, we mentioned at different points of the show that the president had been seen to, at high-level meetings. We showed the panel he had with the U.S. Secretary John Kerry. We showed a number of things yesterday, just illustrating how powerful or how impactful his presence at COP28 was. However, the breakdown of the 422 persons, according to the minister, is as follows. National Council on Climate Change, 32 representatives, fair enough. If any council or any body should be represented at COP28, then certainly the National Council on Climate Change. Federal Ministry of Environment, no questions there, 34 delegates there. All ministries, 167. It would have been great if you had given a breakdown of the ministries and how many people went according to the ministries, because then you wonder why the two bodies had mentioned previously couldn't have attended on behalf of Nigeria and given a report of what had happened at COP28, whilst the others followed virtually, as others had chosen to do. The presidency, 67. Who makes up the numbers of the presidency? Yesterday, we asked I think it was Dr. Batu who asked a very valid question, that the son of the president, Tinubu, is listed amongst the delegates. Was it privately funded or was it government funded? If it was government funded, in what capacity did he attend? As first son or as a personal aide to his father? These are questions that Nigerians want to know. Also, Office of the Vice President, 9, fair enough. National Assembly, 40. Again, quite a curious case. If the committee, the House Committee on Climate Change, was represented, that's fair enough. But the other 40, or the numbers that make up the 40 in terms of National Assembly members, why are they at COP28? What is their function? What is the impact of their presence there? Then federal parastatals and agencies have representatives numbering 73. Again, a further breakdown would have been quite helpful in terms of what's their function. The idea is this thought of the fact that we are spending a lot of money sending people to conferences where the impact of their attending is not as important as the amount of money spent on them attending. Beyond ESTER codes and beyond the transport costs, don't forget that there will be hotel costs that will be paid. In New York, during UNGA, there was a loud outcry about the amount of money spent on hotel bills by the delegation of the federal government. So what happens when things like this happen, following what happened at UNGA, is it seems as if the federal government isn't listening to the people, or perhaps they are far removed from the agitations of the people, that they don't understand that people are suffering. Therefore, when there's a show of lavish spending where it is not justifiable in terms of how much money was spent, then of course you would expect the people to be upset and people to cry out about this. So unfortunately, he's given an explanation for why the president is there. I don't think we need an explanation for that because it is obvious. It is necessary, it is important. However, the justification for the number of people that the federal government sponsored to attend COP28 is not justified. Let's move on to our next story this morning. Alumni of the Nigeria Military School NMS Zaria course 33 set of 1992 has again called for national unity despite the factors that constantly divide the country.